நம பார்வதீபதையே
மகாதேவா.
நாடுடைய சிவனே போற்றி,
நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. சிதம்பரம்
திருக்கைலாய பரம்பரை மெய்கண்ட சந்தானம் திருவாவடுதுறை ஆதீனம் 24வது குரு மகா சன்னிதானம் அவர்களின் அருளாமையின் வண்ணம்
மாணிக்க வாசக பெருமான் அருளிச் செய்த திருவம்பாவையிலிருந்து 14வது பாடல் விண்ணப்பம். காலா குழையாட வைகுண்டனாட போதை குழலாட வந்தை குழாட சீர குணல்லாடி சிற்றம்பலம் பாடி வேத பொருள் பாடி அப்பொருளா பாடி சோதி திறம் பாடி சூழ்கொண்டை பாடி ஆதி திறம் பாடி அந்தமா பாடி பேரித்து நம்மை பலத்தெடுத்த வரைகள் பாதத்திரம் பாடி பாடிலொரும் பாவா. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம்.
சிவா திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். நம பார்வதீபதையே ஹரஹர மகாதேவா. தென்னாடுடைய சிவனை போற்றி, எந்நாட்டவர்க்கும் இறைவா போற்றி. திருச்சிற்றம்பலம். I take pleasure in worshipping the golden feet of Srila Shri Guru Maha Sannidhanam, who holds the 24th Guruvida of Thirukkayilaya Parambarai, Meykanda Santhaanam, Thiruavaduthurai Aatheenam, with the grace of Sri Gnanama Nadaraja Perumal, Aatheena Guru Mudalva, Sri Namashivayamurthigal, and Aatheena Kuladevam, Srimad Madhav Sivanyana Yogigal, with my mind, speech, and body. As per the divine order of Srila Shri Guru Maha Sannidhanam, at the 24th day of ongoing Indranimals reflection on Saivism, we will be reflecting upon the 14th verse of Thiruvempavai, composed by Sri Manikavastu. In the previous hymn, the method by which the goddess and the Lord remove impurities from matured souls, according to their respective levels of spiritual development, was described. Today's hymn, which is the subject of our reflection, describes what happens to those souls after their impurities have been removed. Can we see the song? Verse number 14. காதார் குழையாட பைம்பூன் களனாட கோதை குழலாட வண்டின் குழாமாட செய்த புனலாடி சிற்றம்பல பாடி வேத பொருள் பாடி அப்பொருளாம் ஆப்பாடி சோதி திறம்பாடி சூழ்கொன்றை தார்பாடி ஆதி திறம்பாடி அந்தமா மாப்பாடி பேதித்து நம்மை வளர்த்தெடுத்த பெய்வளைதன் பாத திறம்பாடி ஆடேலூர் எம்பாவாய். This is a song. Let us contemplate the meaning of the song. Kadar Kudayada, the earrings worn on the earth's way. Painpoon Kalanada, the ornaments made of pure gold swing. Kodai Kulalada, the garland adorning the hair moves. Vandin Kulamada, the swamps of bliss settle on it, rise and rotate. See the Punaladi, having bathed in the cool water. Sitrambala Padi, singing in praise of Siddhambaram. Veda Porul Padi, singing the glory of Lord Shiva, who is the essence of Vedas. Appurula Mapadi, singing that he himself is the symbol of that essence. Sodi Tirampadi, singing of his power to bestow grace as a great radiance. Sul Kondrai Tarpadi, singing of the Kondrai garland that encircles his holy head. Adi Tirampadi, singing of his nature as an ancient being. Andama Mapadi, singing of his nature as the ultimate end. Pedithu nammai valarthedutha peivalaithan Pada Tirampadi, and singing of the glory of the feet of the bangle wearing goddess Uma, who rescued us from our state of isolation and raised us and protected us. Adelur Embavai, Thus, as Sri Manikavasagar had composed the 14th verse of Thiruvempavai. In the pond, where the divine form of Shiva and the divine power of Shakti were manifested everywhere, appearing as Shiva himself in all places, the woman entered and bathed repeatedly. Their bodies, cleansed of impurities by the grace of Shiva and Shakti, swayed as they bathed. First, Kadar Kurayada, their earrings, worn on their ears, swayed and danced. As the earrings swayed, the ears, heads, and necks of the young women wearing them also moved. As they moved, Paimpum Kalanada, their ornaments also swayed. Because their heads moved, Kodai Kulalada, their long, dark hair also swayed. Next, Vandin Kulamada, the swarms of bees which had been resting peacefully in the flowers adorned their hair and drinking nectar were now swaying, still in a state of intoxication from the nectar they had consumed. First, the movements in the ears, followed by the movements in the head, neck, and other body parts, cast by the hair to sway, and in turn made the swarm of bees receding there to move as well. What are these phrases? The earrings in the ears swaying, the golden ornaments swaying, the garland in the hair swaying, the swarm of bees swaying. Bringing to mind, what do these four phrases, each ending with swaying, swaying, remind you of? Ketaludan, Sindithal, Telidal, Nittai Kilathalena, Irirandam Kilakin Yanam. These verses bring to mind the Sibanyana Siddhya. The ear represents Ketal, hearing. The golden ornaments represents Sindithal, contemplation. The hair represents Telidal, clarity. And the swarms of bees represents Nittai Kodudal, attaining a state of meditative absorption. All signifies the states of Jnana path. How? In the four Vedas, Puranas, and Agamas, all state that liberation is attained through wisdom, isn't it? Here, the ear system symbolically represents listening, the first stage of acquiring wisdom. Since most of the ornaments worn by women are worn on the chest area, the swaying of the golden ornament signifies contemplation. The hair is on the head. Therefore, it represents clarity of thoughts. The bees sitting motionless and silently in the hair represent the state of deep meditation. To attain divine wisdom, they bathe in cool, refreshing waters. As they immerse themselves in the water, beetless rise to the surface, spinning and buzzing. To become firmly established in spiritual contemplation, they strive to understand the state where everything resides in the Lord, and the Lord is present everywhere, and they attempt to perceive Him within their hearts. While bathing in the cool waters, they sang of Sidambaram. Next, they sang the praises of upright, one who is the essence of the four Vedas. Following that, they sang the divine power that is glorified in verses of rice. Then they sang of the excellent attributes of Shiva, who shines forth as a form of light. They sang the garland of Lord Shiva. Shiva, the name of the Lord, is his womb. Then they sang of Shiva's nature as the origin of all living beings born in the world. Following that, they sang of his nature as the ultimate end of all things in this world. This is beautifully described by Sri Manikavasagar as singing of Sidambaram, singing of the meaning of the Vedas, singing of the essence of that meaning, singing of the nature of the divine light, singing of the garland of surrounding contrary flowers, singing of the nature of the beginnings, and singing of the nature of the ultimate end. They praise and worship the glorious speech of the Lord, who is a light beyond imagination, the symbol of compassion, whose wonders from endures, residing in the holy Sidambaram, the supreme space of consciousness, the pinnacle of the holy Vedas, where he performed his divine dance with grace. that the Supreme Being, which has neither form nor name and transcends all imagination, out of immense compassion, assumes a form so that we, as living beings, may perceive it and attain salvation. It manifests itself and bestows grace by assuming formless, semi-formless, and formed divine bodies. Among the forms assumed by God, the essence of the Vedas represents the formless, light represents the semi-formless, and all the forms of Shiva represent the formed aspects. The Vedas are the three types: Karma Kanda, Upasana Kanda, and Jnana Kanda. The Jnana Kanda is the Upanishads. There are total of 108 Upanishads. Among them, the Kena Upanishad is found in Samaveda. The Sanskrit word Kena means questions, because this Upanishad begins with the word Kena. It is called the Kena Upanishad. The body functions, the mind functions. This Upanishad attempts to find an answer to the question of whether someone is directing these functions. The Kena Upanishad recounts a story. Once, all the Devas, prized in the Vedas, become arrogant. Each of them, believing themselves to be Brahman, began to quarrel, demanding that everyone should worship them. Lord Shiva, manifesting as a divine being, appeared before them and placed a single blade of grass in front of them. He declared that whoever could lift this blade of grass would be considered Brahman. The Devas competed with each other, trying to lift the blade of grass. Despite employing all their power, none of them could even move it. As they all stood confused, wondering who is this divine being was, Goddess Uma revealed that this very being was Brahman. Next, they sing in the praises of divine light power. The Shiva Jyoti is the symbol of wisdom, the source of light for all luminous objects, capable of dispelling both the external darkness and the internal darkness of Anava. Its power lies in removing the inner darkness of souls and bestowing the illumination of wisdom. They sing in praise of the quality and that kindness, Sodhitirampadi. For souls that cannot perceive the form of wisdom described in the Vedas, not the formless, luminous divine essence, he appears in the physical form, adorned with garlands and other establishments that compensate one, wearing a garland of kondrai flowers. Soul kondrai tarpadi. Shiva is the one who creates, protects, and destroys all living beings. Therefore, he is called Adi, the beginning. The eternal Parabrahman, as the beginning, remains united with all living beings as their consciousness. And the kindness of revealing this is described as singing the glory of the beginning and the ultimate end. Adithirampadi, Andamamapadi. They say that Lord Shiva, when everything dissolves back into its respective cause, reminds us the ultimate end of all things. And this is described as singing about how he is the end. It is not singing the end, but singing about how he becomes the end. It is his divine will that at the time of recreation, everything comes into being formed, that very end. Andam Amarupadi. As they praise and extol God's grace, the feet that took hold of us and guided us come to mind. And they sing to the glory of the feet of the goddess with the beautiful bangles who transformed and stimulated us. Transformed means that from the isolation state of utter ignorance, she differentiated us from that state, bestowed upon us bodies, senses, worlds, and experiences, elevated us to the state of conscious being, allowed us to experience the fruit of our actions, gradually loosened the bonds of impurities, granted us wisdom, provided spiritual progress, and protected us from becoming entangled again in world affairs and the circle of birth and death. They urge us to sing the glory of the feet of the supreme power who accomplished all this. பேதித்து நம்மை வளர்த்தெடுத்த பெய்வலை பாதத்திரம் பாடி. பேதித்து, வளர்த்து, எடுத்து. Dispelling, stimulating, lifting. Dispelling, that means concealing the truth and immersing one in the consequences of karma. Stimulating means passing one to experience pleasure and pain according to their karma. Lifting indicates extending the helping hand and lifting one up so that they do not sink into the cycle of karma. Sri Manikavasakar has concluded the 14th verse of Thiruvempavai singing, "O my dear girl, let us sing and dance in praises of the feet of her who lifted me with her compassionate hand, preventing me from sinking into the ocean of worldly illusion." With this, our reflection for today concludes. We will meet again tomorrow with the 15th verse of Thiruvempavai.